So now, after learning the basics about the operators, comparison operators, expressions, data types, the next far most important thing for any programming language is the conditional statements. So in Python, there are uh, different types of conditional statements. For example, you can use if, you can use else if, that is elif and else. For instance, if you say that one is it's if condition, if condition, elif is else if, and then the else condition. So these are the three conditions, conditional statements you can use. And the overall basic structure of the if condition is that first you have to write if, and then if, for instance, x or x is greater than 0. So here x is the variable, the greater than is the greater than 0 is x greater than 0 is the condition, and then you have to print type colon, right? So that's the statement. If you write the colon, I'm using Anaconda from Jupyter Lab. That's why it has a lot of different facilities that it make itself in a structure of Python, and it will add automatic indentation here. But it's a very important thing. Whatever app of Python you're using Jupyter, you're using Spider, you are using some other platform, the indentation is very important. So keep in mind, one, that there's a conditional statement, then there is a colon, and then when you type enter, there's an indentation, and then here you can write the statement. For example, if the condition gets true, you say, yeah, it's true, and x is positive, or x is greater than 0, right? And then you can print it. But here, so yeah, so here we've just, I'm just showing you the example. Like this place here, you can write multiple things, whatever you want to write, y, whatever you want to write, z, right? So on and so forth. This is the block of the if condition, if it is true, intended block, and whatever it's part of this block will be printed if this condition gets true. So that's the basic statement, right? And obviously, from the previous experiences, maybe you have, but that if the condition doesn't get true, you can use an else condition as well. Like, for example, if x is not greater than x is not greater than 0, and you want to paste it that x is negative, you can write, like, for instance, you go back here, you write else, and then you have to again put the colon, and then you see there's an indentation that says x is negative, right? So that's the overall basic if else condition statement, right? So yes, so it's, I think it's very easy and straightforward for you to understand. And one more important thing is that indentation should match, this indentation should match with the indentation of if. So if and else should have the same indentation, right? It's not a good practice to make different indentations, or maybe most of the the programs give an error, because it's always important to have the same indentation for if and else. So and then there is one more possibility, as we have discussed here, is that one is if else, and then there's another one which I showed you before, is that elif, right? L if. So how you can make this L if statement, right? So for instance, you say that if x is greater than 0, L if greater is not 0. For instance, if I just type you for your understanding, because that would make you feel, if else if x is greater than 0, print x is positive, right? And you say elif x is less than 0. This is the else if statement or elif statement in Python, and then you say print x is negative, right? And then you say else print x is 0. Either any of the statement. So here you can see that we have used if x is greater than 0, if x is less than 0, and else print x is 0. So there are two, these are two different. So if I make this work here, how it should work. For instance, here I say that x is 5 equals to 5. So and then I run it, this script. What do you think? What do you think? What will happen? Right? So it is giving me an output that x is positive, y, and x, because I have said that x is equal to 5. So if the condition is that if x is greater than 0, print x is positive, print y, print x. It will print everything which is inside here. It will not print anything that is uh, that is that is inside the else condition, right? So you can also make, for instance, if you write here -1, enter. Now x is -1, x is not greater than 0, and that's why it will go into the else and it will print x is negative. Same here, this script which we discussed here, that if we write if x is greater than 0, if x is less than 0, or else x is 0. So if I write here x equals to 0, and if I run this program, it is giving me x is 0, because x can be x is equals to 0. If x is greater than 0, it will not go inside this one. And if x is less than 0, it will not go inside this one. And then it will print else print x is 0, right? We will do a short exercise after discussing these if else conditions, the to know in detail that how the if and else condition works. And obviously as the time will pass, we will do new and exercises, and in all those exercises there will be all these different operators, conditional statements, and expressions will be all together. So then you, with time, you will be equipped with how to deal with the bioinformatics databases and data sets, because most of our exercises will be based on the bioinformatics files from different genomics, proteomics, or transcriptomic data sets. So, coming back to where we were. So, one is the if else statement, then one is the if elif and else statement, and then there's also one which we call nested conditional statements. In the nested conditional statements, there is another condition within the condition to we can use a number of nested conditions. However, it will make the program difficult to read. Like for example, if an if condition has an else condition, and within else there are multiple conditions, that makes the program a bit confusing. But still, there would be time when there is a requirement of any nested condition. So the Python provides you with that facility as well. For instance, if you want to know what is if a nested conditional statement is, if I show you here in another one, for instance, if I say that if x is greater than 0, right, print x is positive, right? And I say else, I'm not writing here anything. There are multiple conditions I want to put, for instance, in else. For example, else if x is equals to equal to 0, print x is 0, right? For instance, this is just a simple example. You can x is equal to 0, x is less than 0, or x is greater than is not equal to 0. It depends on the question we have. So for instance, here you can see that there's an if condition where we are saying that if x is greater than 0, and then we are saying print x is positive, then we say x is greater than 0, print x is sorry, if x is less than 0, print x is negative. For instance, just to make it the most simple one, and I write here x is 1, right? So it is saying me x is positive. If I write x minus 1, it will say x is negative, because now it is going to else condition, and it is what do you think what would happen if I write here 0? Here you see that if x is 0, then if x is greater than 0, it will say that print x is positive, else. So I don't think it will print anything, because it is not fulfilling the both conditions. So for example, if I here put another one, elif x equal to 0, x is 0. Right? So now here you see that, and now if x is 0, it's going if condition. If x is greater than 0, no, it's not. Else, if x is less than 0, print x is negative. So it's saying again, it's not less than 0. And if x is equal to 0, print x is 0. So it's printing here 0. So this is one example, a simple example of the nested if else conditions. So now you understand that how the if else condition works. What is if, with what is elif, what is if else, sorry, what is nested if else conditions. So from in the next exercise, we will start from the further how to make the use these if else conditions, and what are the what are different ways to use methods in that if else conditions. There are a lot of built-in methods in Python. There are a lot of different things specific for bioinformatics to learn. See you soon.